Hi, I'm Don Harold. How are you? This is Wednesday, March the 17th, 2010. Yesterday was the 5th anniversary of Mad Money on CNBC. And as you can imagine, all day long on CNBC was the self-congratulation and the back-patting. The Jergens squirted all around. And people asked me, they said, Don, are you going to do a video about this? Are you going to, comment on this? And at first I thought, nah, I'm not going to fool with it. I thought, my videos have been, they are what they are. I've been doing what I've been doing for 5 years on YouTube myself, trying to keep track with old Snake Eyes. And, any day for me is no different than the next day. If Cramer's opening his mouth on Mad Money or CNBC, you can spend about 5 minutes finding out the truth. And it's not that hard. In fact, if you go to YouTube, which I recommend you do, just look at the videos I've done or look at the other videos out there. Search for Jim Cramer at YouTube and grab the one about Jim Cramer explaining how not only is the market manipulated, he manipulated the market and did things which were fraudulent and illegal, and then recommends hedge funds do them too. And then refers to reporters like Bob Pisani as, I think, dummies or idiots or something. That's good, high-quality entertainment. Check that out. Then watch my video. 135,000 other people have watched it. The flip-flop that ought to be illegal. You may have forgot that some Bear Stearns hedge fund guys went to jail for what they did wrong. But Cramer, the very week that happened, well, he did a flip-flop on live TV that if you or I did it, would probably land us also in the big house. Watch that video. Then watch Jim Cramer scream that Bear Stearns is fine back in March of 2008. And that's, of course, the much misunderstood comments he made about Bear Stearns, which I've tried to explain to people are irrelevant anyway. Because Jim Cramer had been recommending people buy all the bank stocks in February of 2008, and he loved Bear Stearns. Oh my goodness, he loved Bear Stearns at $70 and $80 and $90 a share. And then, by the way, he slapped a big sell target on it, or sell rating on it, or whatever he calls that on his show. Told people to get out at about 4, only to watch it climb about 300%. So watch Cramer claim that Bear Stearns is fine, and then remember the time, and remember the video I did exposing his actual comments, which you can scroll down and watch here, on Bear Stearns. This was a video with 164,000 views. Other people who saw me expose the Jim Cramer Bear Stearns lunacy for what it really is. Now, if those aren't good enough for you, then watch Rick Santelli take down Cramer. 400,000 views of a video where you'll get to see Rick Santelli have enough of Jim Cramer claiming he was a bear in 2007. It's classic comedy, but it gets even better, because then you need to watch Jim Cramer talk about cutting rates. This is the famous they know nothing rant. Now, many of you will forget that after Jim Cramer claimed they know nothing, he then went on to say that they knew something and that recession was off the table. Now, I know you've forgotten all that, and that's why you need to scroll down and watch my video, Jim Cramer, the day the Fed cut rates. Now, there are all sorts of videos. By the way, that may be one of the best videos I've ever done. Jim Cramer, the day the Fed cut rates. Now, if that's not enough, you know how Jim Cramer claims that he called the bottom last year? Well, search for Jim Cramer, the myth that keeps on mything. It's a video I did that you've absolutely got to watch. That is, by the way, that is, if you want to know the truth about Jim Cramer supposedly calling the bottom. Now, he's recently said he also called the top at 14,000, I guess, or he was very, getting people out at 11,000, all sorts of stuff. And you know what? For a 5th anniversary show, if you want my response to Jim Cramer on the 5th anniversary of Mad Money, you got it, baby. You can just watch all my videos for the last 5 years. But truly, I must tip my hat to the good folks at Zero Hedge who produced this gem. TheStreet.com is being investigated by the SEC. That's right. You probably didn't see this on Mad Money in their celebration yesterday. But in their filings, you'll discover that the reason they need more time to prepare their financial statements is in large part a bunch of EBITDA and this and that and selling this and accounting for that. But then there are also matters related to an investigation commenced by a Securities Exchange Commission in March of 2010. Well, hey, Cramericans, that's just in the last couple weeks. Now, I know Jim hadn't talked about that, and for Pete's diggity, why would he? But I did a video this January. By the way, I recommend that you go read this article at Zero Hedge. But I did a video myself this year on YouTube, which if you want to search for Don Harold Predictions 2010, you can watch my video. 15,000 other people have, and you probably should too. You'll see that one of my predictions involves Jim Cramer not being around this time next year. Well, check it out. At least not as a host on Mad Money on CNBC. Now check this out. Jim Cramer may still be involved with CNBC next year. I could be wrong about my prediction. The Mad Money may be on the air. But on the eve of his 5th anniversary show, 5th anniversary, I suspect one thing Cramer may be doing between now and next year is he may have to be pleading the 5th in an ongoing investigation by the SEC. Cramericans, stay tuned. Check out Zero Hedge for more information. And as always, Cramericans, boo-yah.